The sky above New York turned red at 3:47 a.m. It started as a single bright light, then became 10, then 20, then hundreds. Giant black ships, shaped like curved daggers, appeared without sound. No missiles, no warnings. They just floated. High above the cities of Earth like shadows ready to fall. Every government went into panic. Air Force jets took to the skies. Missiles were locked. Orders were given. But before anyone fired, the ship sent a single message that it played on every screen, every phone, every satellite. We are the Varellans. We come in peace. We are here to shield your world. You are in danger. Let us protect you. And then, silence. People were confused. Was it a lie, a trap, or something worse? The United Nations called an emergency meeting. Every world leader was present, either in person or by video. The room buzzed with fear and suspicion. This could be an invasion, the French president said. We cannot trust them. They didn't attack, the Japanese prime minister replied. They're just watching. They're not just watching, growled General Hardin of the U.S. military. They're waiting. Waiting for what? Asked a voice from the back. The room fell quiet. That was the question. What were they waiting for? After 12 hours, a Varellan envoy finally stepped forward. One of their ships landed just outside Geneva. It unfolded like a flower made of metal. A single tall figure emerged, gray skin, glowing blue eyes, and long robes made of shimmering light. I am Avari, the alien said in perfect English. I speak for the Varellan Shield. We have come to protect your kind. From what? Asked the UN Secretary General. Avari paused, then answered slowly. That is not important now, but it was. It was the only thing that mattered. Doctor. Layla Noor watched the news from her lab in Dubai. She was one of the top astrophysicists on Earth. She didn't trust anything without data. She narrowed her eyes at the alien. They're hiding something, she whispered. Her assistant, Omar, looked nervous. Should we start scanning the skies? Layla was already doing it. 2 days passed. The Varellans remained silent. Their ships didn't move, didn't open fire, didn't respond to threats. Then, on the third night, they acted. Massive energy beams came from their ships. They weren't weapons. They aimed into the atmosphere, the oceans, and the crust of the Earth. And then slowly, something began to appear. A glowing shield formed starting from above Africa, spreading like a dome. It wasn't a wall. It wasn't solid. But sensors showed it was blocking things. Radiation, micrometeorites, satellites. Earth was now inside a bubble. The Varellans said, we are placing a shield to protect you from the threat. What threat? President Alicia Vaughn of the U.S. asked again. They refused to answer. People began to panic. Space travel stopped. The ISS lost contact. Mars rovers went offline. Communications with deep space telescopes were gone. The internet still worked, but something felt wrong. It's like we're locked in a cage, Layla said. A very pretty cage. Then her telescope picked up something strange. A pulse. Not from Earth. Not from the VIRLLAN. Not from outside the shield. That night, Layla and Omar sat in the lab decoding the signal. It's a message, Omar said, eyes wide. But it's not Varellan. They played it aloud. The voice was static, rough, like it had traveled through storms. You are not the target, it said. You are the bait. Layla froze. Did you hear that? Omar nodded slowly. Who sent this? He asked. I don't know, Layla replied. But it means one thing. The Varellans didn't come to help us. They came to trap something near us. The next morning, Layla tried to send the message to the United Nations. But the email failed. Her network crashed. Power flickered. Strange sound came from the telescope. A whisper. Like something was listening. Then the lab's door locked. Omar yelled, We're locked in. Layla backed away from the equipment. Her computer melted from the inside, sparks flying. Data was erased in seconds. The Varellans had noticed. They knew she found out. Meanwhile, global leaders still waited for answers. Why won't they tell us what the danger is? Asked President Vaughn. Avari stood calm and cold. Your species is emotional. You panic. You would only interfere. We are here to prevent extinction. Then let us fight, General Hardin shouted. We have weapons. Soldiers, let us defend ourselves. You are not strong enough, Avari replied. You are not meant to fight. Then what are we meant for? The British Prime Minister asked. Again. The Varellan gave no answer. In secret, Layla met with world leaders through a hidden channel. She showed them the broken data. The erased signal. The part she recovered. The message was short but clear. They are not your friends. They are hiding what hunts them. You must decide, obey or resist. A new scan of the shield showed something terrifying. A dark object was approaching fast. It was invisible to most sensors, but Layla's team detected a distortion in gravity, light, and radiation. Something was coming. And then on the 7th day after the Varellans arrived, the moon went dark. At first, people thought it was an eclipse. But telescopes showed the truth. The moon base, where the Varellans had built their largest command center, was destroyed. No explosion, no sound, just gone. Smoke, silence, nothing left. Avari's calm expression broke for the first time. They've arrived, he whispered. Who? The UN Secretary General shouted. Tell us, who's attacking? Avari looked up. They call themselves the Eartech. They have followed us across galaxies. We brought them here. We had no choice. You used Earth as a trap, Layla said. Stepping into the chamber, Avari nodded. We needed a planet strong enough to survive the impact. One that would confuse the Eartech. One with life but no real threat. Until now, General. Hardin said, loading his weapon. We're not weak. We fight for our home. Chaos spread. Nations broke alliance with the Varellans. Military forces began taking down alien tech. Cities across the world cut power to Varellan bases. There were gunfights, riots, crashes. And through it all, the object drew closer. The Eartech had arrived, but Earth was not the same planet the Varellans first scouted. Humanity had learned fast. And they were angry. The Varellans tried to leave, but Layla and global scientists found a way to crack part of the shield from the inside. They opened small gaps, just enough to fire weapons outward. We're not your cage anymore, Layla said. We never meant harm, Avari replied. But now you will suffer. Then we suffer free, she said. As the story ended, Earth was still under attack, but humans were no longer afraid. They knew the truth. They had the will to fight. And now they had a reason, because when the shield fell, humanity didn't ask to be saved. They asked, protect us from whom? And now they had the answer. The sky changed without warning. People across every continent watched as beams of golden light shot from the alien ships floating above Earth. At first, it looked beautiful. Then it became frightening. The beams connected high in the atmosphere, forming a glowing web around the planet. Satellites went offline. Deep space signals were blocked. Every observatory saw the same thing. Something invisible had wrapped around Earth like a net. The Varellans had activated the shield. In a government control room under London. Panic had already started. We've lost contact with the Hubble. Replacement, a technician shouted. All deep space images are just black. What about GPS? Asked the defense minister. Unstable. Half the satellites are offline. President Alicia Vaughn of the United States leaned forward on the global screen. This isn't a shield. It's a lockdown. From Geneva, the Varellan envoy, Avari, appeared on all screens again. His voice was smooth, calm, and cold. You are now protected. The shield is complete. Protected from what? President Vaughn asked. Avari looked away. Your planet emits signals, sounds, noise. They can hear it. Now they cannot. That's not an answer, said General Hardin. Who can hear it? Avari offered no reply. Meanwhile, Dr. Layla Noor stood outside her destroyed lab. Her telescope had melted. Her data had been wiped. She had been silenced, but she wasn't done. This isn't protection, she told Omar. It's isolation. They're cutting us off from everything outside. Omar looked up. Then why are they still here? Layla narrowed her eyes. Because the real threat is coming here. A new Varellan base had begun construction over the Pacific Ocean. Floating towers hovered miles above the sea, powered by light that humans couldn't understand. The aliens didn't invite humans. They didn't ask permission. They just built world. Leaders argued in secret. Some wanted war. Others feared a mistake. But all agreed on one thing. The aliens were hiding the truth. Inside one secret meeting in Berlin, Layla was invited to speak. She stood before the council, her voice calm but firm. They didn't shield us for our safety, she said. They shielded us because something worse is coming. Do you have proof? Asked the Russian president. Layla pulled out a device. It played a fragment of the strange message she decoded before the system was erased. You are not the target. You are the bait. The room went silent. Across the world, strange things started happening. Birds flew in the wrong direction. Whales beached themselves. Magnetic compasses spun wildly. Then, in one observatory in Chile, a junior scientist saw something terrifying. A black circle in the sky, not seen with the eye. Only with instruments. It was cold, massive, and moving fast. Toward Earth. It didn't send a signal. It didn't reflect light. But it bent space around it. Like a hole in the universe. The scientist sent the data up the chain. It was blocked by the shield. In the sky. The shield began to flicker. Energy waves moved through it like ripples in water. The Varellans grew tense. Their ships adjusted positions. New weapons were activated, long beams that circled Earth like spinning blades. In Washington, D.C., General Hardin stared at a live feed. They're preparing for a fight, he said. But not with us, said Vaughn. Then with who? One night later, something hit the shield. It was invisible, fast and deadly. Not a missile, not a meteor. Just a silent pressure like a fist on a bubble. The shield glowed red. Avari appeared again, this time sweating. He was afraid. It has found us. President Vaughn stood slowly. What is it? We do not speak its name, Avari said. Why? Because it listens. All over the world, lights flickered. Oceans pulsed like they were breathing. People heard strange sounds in their heads, whispers that weren't words. Dreams turned dark. Layla's team recorded brainwave spikes in. Millions of people. It's communicating, she said. Not with words, but with fear. Suddenly, all Varellan outposts went into lockdown. Their ships rose higher, further from Earth. They placed more drones around the shield's edge. Then, the moon base went quiet. Layla watched as the Varellan feed from the moon blinked out. Gone. No explosion. No warning. No sign of life. Just silence. What just happened? Omar asked, terrified. They killed the lights, she replied. Whatever it is, it got through. Or maybe it never left. The Varellans didn't explain. They simply began retreating from Earth's surface, leaving their tech behind. They abandoned stations. They moved to the edge of the shield, forming a circle around the planet. President Vaughn demanded answers. Tell us what's coming. She shouted into the transmission. Avari's reply was quiet. They devour stars. They infect minds. They do not speak. They consume. And now they are here. Because of us. You brought them? General Hardin roared. We ran, Avari admitted. We needed a shield strong enough to distract them. Earth was the perfect place. So we were your bait? Vaughn asked. Yes. A long silence followed. Then Vaughn said, "Then you're not our saviors." "No," Avari said. "We are your curse." World leaders reacted quickly. A secret task force was formed. Scientists, generals, engineers. Layla was made chief of data reconstruction. Her first goal, find a way to disable the shield from the inside. They couldn't run Dot, so they had to fight Dot as Layla worked in her underground lab. She made a shocking discovery. A piece of Varellan code hidden deep in their shield systems. A control node, small, invisible, but reachable. "If I break this," she said, "I can open a gap." "Wouldn't that let the creature in?" Omar asked. Layla shook her head. "No. It's already here. The shield didn't stop it. It just blinded us." She paused. "But it also blinded them." That night, the stars vanished. Even through the shield, light dimmed. Telescopes failed. The sky turned black. A sound like distant thunder rolled across the earth, not from clouds, but from space. Then a single word appeared in Layla's systems. Not typed. Not spoken. Just there. Awake. Her hands shook. "It's not a creature," she said. "It's a mind." As chaos spread, world leaders made a choice. They would not trust the Varellans again. They would prepare Earth's own defense. General Hardin addressed a global team. "Humans adapt. We survive. We beat every enemy in our history, and we didn't even have spaceships then. This will not end us." A cheer went up. Layla smiled. Time to show them what Earth really is. While Varellans held their positions in space, Earth's militaries took over abandoned alien tech. Scientists reverse-engineered weapons. Cities built underground bunkers. AI defense systems were activated. People were scared, but they weren't broken. The Varellans watched in shock. "They learn too fast," one whispered. Avari nodded. "Perhaps. They are not so weak." By the end of the week, Earth had changed. The shield still remained, but now humans were in control of part of it. Layla's team had created cracks, windows to the stars, and through those cracks, they saw movement. Something massive, something endless, something with no face and no voice. But Earth didn't blink, because this time they were ready. And deep in the silence, humanity asked the question once more. Protect us. From whom? The answer was waiting, but now they didn't need protection. They needed revenge. Dr. Layla Noor hadn't slept in 2 days. Her lab was quiet, too quiet. Only the soft hum of machines and the blinking lights from monitors kept her company. Ever since the Varellans activated the shield, nothing had felt normal. The Earth was blocked from the stars. Space telescopes saw nothing. Communications with outer colonies had stopped. And yet, something was still reaching out. Layla leaned over her main console. Her eyes burned, but she didn't care. She had finally captured something, a pulse. Faint, hidden deep inside background radiation. It came every 11 minutes, too regular to be natural. She hit record. There it is again, she whispered. It's not noise, it's a pattern. Omar, her assistant, looked up from the other side of the room. He rubbed his tired face. You think it's alien? Layla nodded. Not Varellan, something else. They listened again. The pulse became a whisper just on the edge of hearing. It didn't sound like a voice. It felt like one, a pressure inside the head. A cold touch in the spine. Then words formed, soft, broken, but real. You are not safe. Layla's fingers froze over. The keyboard. Omar stood. That wasn't from here. No, she said. It's from outside the shield. They stared at the screen as new data came in. A signal map, one that showed movement. Something was slowly circling the outer layer of the shield, like it was testing for a crack. 2 hours later, Layla went to a secret meeting with world leaders. They had gathered underground in Switzerland, beneath the neutral mountains where the Varellans couldn't hear them. The room was small and dark. Old-style projectors were used instead of digital screens. Safety first. President Vaughn stood with arms crossed. You said you picked up a new signal? She asked. Layla nodded and placed a small drive on the table. I don't know who or what is sending it. But it's not the Varellans. She played a short clip. You are not the target. Murmurs broke out across the room. Then what are we? Asked General Hardin. Bait, Layla said quietly. Earth was chosen to lure something in. The room went silent. Then someone whispered, the thing that took the moon? Layla nodded. We've all been watching the wrong side of the sky. Later that night, back in her lab, Layla worked alone. Omar had gone to rest, but she couldn't. Stop. The whispering signal was growing louder. And then it changed. No longer just a warning. Now it was speaking directly to her. Layla knew her. They lie. They run. You will burn. She stumbled back from the monitor. Her heart pounded. The lab's lights flickered. The air felt heavy, like something unseen had entered the room. She tried to turn off the console, but it wouldn't respond. A new image appeared on the screen. A star map. Red dots. Paths traced in lines like a hunter tracking prey. Earth was the final point. In the Varellan base, hovering over the Atlantic, Avari watched the Earth with growing worry. His kind had thought the shield would be enough. It wasn't. The presence outside had found them again. A young Varellan officer approached. They are listening, the officer said. They always were, Avari replied. But now the humans are listening too. The officer hesitated. We could erase the signal. Avari's face darkened. If we do, she will know. Then perhaps it's time to tell them the truth. Avari said nothing. He looked down at the blue planet, then turned away. Back on Earth, Layla woke to the sound of alarms. Her lab had been breached. She grabbed her tablet and ran toward the main server room. Smoke filled the hallway. Sparks flew from the walls. She stopped. In the center of the destruction stood two tall figures, Varellans. They were burning her equipment, smashing the satellite receivers. Layla shouted, What are you doing? One turned to her. You were warned. You are opening doors that must remain closed. This is our planet, she yelled. You said you came to protect us. The alien's face twisted not with anger, but sadness. We lied. Then everything went dark. She woke in a hospital. Omar sat beside her, his face pale and tired. What happened? She asked. They attacked the lab. Said it was a power surge, but everyone knows it wasn't. Layla sat up. Did you back up the data? Omar smiled. Everything. She squeezed his hand. We need to show the world. Within hours, Layla released the full recording. The message. The star map. The name they whispered. Erta KH. People panicked. Cities locked down. Military alert levels rose. Protests began outside Varellan bases. Humans were no longer willing to trust their protectors. And then, something even stranger happened. More people began hearing the whispers. Not through machines. But in their dreams. A child in Brazil woke screaming, speaking in a voice not her own. A pilot in Moscow saw a black shape in the sky, and it vanished. A woman in Kenya drew a picture of a creature with no eyes and too many arms. None of them knew each other, but all said the same thing. It's coming. Layla stood again before the United Nations. I don't think we can stop it from entering, she said. It's already touching minds. Then what do we do? Asked President Vaughn. We fight, Layla said. But first, we take back control. The humans launched Operation Mirror Break. Their goal, hack into the Varellan shield network and open a viewing port, just enough to see the space beyond. If the Varellans saw, they did nothing to stop it. Layla sat at the control station as the code uploaded. The room held its breath. And then the stars came back. Everyone gasped. They looked out. And saw nothing. Just empty black space. but the instruments screamed. Gravity rippled. Radiation dropped. Time itself twisted around a single point, and then they saw it, not with eyes but with minds, a shape too big to understand, moving slowly. Watching. Them all. It was not a ship. It was not a creature. It was hunger. Layla whispered, "We're not just the bait. We're the feast." Suddenly, the Varellans opened a direct transmission. Avari appeared tired. "Quiet. It has awakened," he said. "Why didn't you tell us?" Layla asked. "You would have run, like we did. And it would have followed, like it always does. So you trapped it here?" General Hardin said, furious. "With us?" "It was already coming," Avari replied. "But now you've seen it, you hear it." He looked at Layla. "You're the Whisperer now. What does that mean?" she asked. Avari gave a small, sad smile. "It means you'll lead the fight, whether you want to or not." The transmission ended. Layla stood, heart pounding. She knew the world had changed. She wasn't just a scientist anymore. She was the one who heard the enemy first. And soon, she would be the first to face it. The shield around Earth shimmered faintly in the sky, almost invisible during the day, but glowing like a spider web at night. Most people had grown used to it by now. They worked, they ate, they lived their lives under the safety net created by the Varellans. But Dr. Layla Noor could not rest. She stood alone in the observatory, eyes locked on her monitor. A new pattern was emerging in the signal, the whispering code that only she and a few others had managed to trace. Her hands trembled as she read the message slowly forming across the screen. "They are not your friends. They are hiding what hunts them." Omar entered the room carrying 2 cups of coffee. "You haven't slept, have you?" he asked. Layla didn't answer. She turned the screen toward him. His eyes widened. "This message again? It's clearer now." "It's changing," she whispered. "It's trying to warn us, or maybe it's begging for help." "From what?" Layla looked up. "I don't know. But I think it's already here. Elsewhere." In a hidden military bunker under the Rocky Mountains, General Hardin met with President Vaughn and top advisors. "We've intercepted Varellan internal communications," Hardin said. "They're scared." "What do you mean?" the president asked. "They've increased their fleet positions, redirected all defense satellites toward deep space. But they haven't told us anything." "Typical," Vaughn said. "Still treating us like children." Hardin leaned closer. "We picked up a large anomaly on the outer edge of the shield. Something's moving out there. It's bending space, and it's getting closer." Vaughn's face tightened. "How big?" "We don't know. Instruments can't fully scan it." "And the Varellans? They know exactly what it is. But they're not saying." That night, Layla received a new signal, a full image. She and Omar stared at the screen. A star map appeared. Red lines showed paths across galaxies. Planet after planet, system after system, marked with black X's, dead worlds. Burned skies. At the very end of the path was Earth. "It's following them," Omar said, shocked. "Whatever it is, it's hunting the Varellans." Layla sat down, pale. "And now we're in its path." She brought the data to the United Nations Emergency Council. She stood in front of dozens of world leaders, scientists, and generals. The room was tense, full of questions. Layla pointed to the star map. "This is a trail of destruction," she said. "Worlds erased. Civilizations wiped out. Every one of them connected by a single thing, the presence of the Varellans." She let the silence hang for a moment. "Wherever they go, this creature or force follows." General Hardin stood. "So you're saying they didn't come here to protect us?" "No," Layla said. "They came here to hide. Or maybe to make a trap." Murmurs filled the room. Some people shook their heads in disbelief. Others were already convinced. The president looked directly at her. "What do you suggest we do?" Layla's voice was calm but firm. "Ask them the truth. and prepare to break the shield. The confrontation was not peaceful. President Vaughn, General Hardin, and Layla traveled to the main Varellan command ship in orbit. They were escorted into a silent hall of glowing walls and strange, floating lights. Avari waited for them. "You are here without permission," he said. "We want answers," Vaughn said. "You already suspect the truth." "Then confirm it," Layla said, stepping forward. "Tell us what's really coming." Avari sighed, his glowing blue eyes dimming. "They are called the Irdak. We do not know what they truly are. Minds without bodies. Shadows without light. They cannot be reasoned with. They consume thought and destroy planets. Why are they following you?" Hardin asked. "Because once, long ago, we tried to destroy them and failed." Avari turned away, voice low. "They marked us. Wherever we go, they follow. We lost our home. We lost hundreds of colonies. We came to Earth hoping to trap them, delay them using your world as bait." Vaughn stepped forward, furious. "You used us." "We had no choice," Avari shouted. "Do you know what it feels like to run for thousands of years?" Layla clenched her fists. "You brought death to our doorstep." "No," Avari said. Coldly, "it was already coming. Earth's signals reached far across the stars. Your wars, your music, your voices. You called to the void." A long silence followed. Then Avari added, "We only made sure they heard you louder." The humans returned to Earth. The truth was revealed. People across the planet reacted with shock, anger, and fear. Protests exploded in the streets. "Tear down the shield." Banners appeared in cities. Others begged for the Varellans to stay. World was divided. And then the anomaly moved. A deep tremor was felt across the Pacific Ocean. Instruments failed. Sensors exploded. A black wave rippled across the sky. The shield flickered. Layla ran into her lab. It started. Omar pointed at the screen. "Something's trying to push through." On monitors, the shield stretched like rubber. Something enormous pressed against it. No shape, no light. Just pressure. The Irtak had arrived. Across the world, people felt it. Headaches, whispers, dreams turning cold. Some collapsed. Others screamed. Children spoke in voices they didn't know. The enemy didn't need to land. It entered minds. General Hardin activated global defense systems. We waited long enough. A plan was formed. The humans would open a controlled gap in the shield, just wide enough to strike. They couldn't trust the Varellans. They would fight on their own. Layla worked with engineers and hackers. They found a weak point in the Varellan network, a hidden code that allowed manual override. "We open it for 10 seconds, she said. "Just enough to test a weapon." Omar loaded the new pulse bomb into a drone. "It's ready." The test began. The shield flickered. A small crack opened above the Indian Ocean dot, and for just 1 second, everyone saw it. A dark cloud, massive and endless, covered the stars. Screaming was heard, not by ears, but in every mind. Then the drone fired. Bright flash. The crack-sealed dot. The monitor showed the result. The cloud had pulled back slightly. Layla gasped, "It can be hurt." The war had not begun, but Earth had seen its real enemy. And now it knew how to fight. No longer afraid. No longer blind. The humans stood tall under their shield, not as prey, but as the next hunters. The moon was Earth's silent guardian, a quiet rock circling the night sky. But that night, something changed. The moon's glow flickered and then faded. Across the globe, telescopes and satellites picked up an alert. The Varellan base on the moon, the largest alien outpost, went dark. In a command center deep underground. General Hardin stared at the screen, his face pale. "Report." He barked. A technician's voice trembled. The entire base lost power. No response to any signal. "It's as if it vanished." President Vaughn stepped forward. "Vanished? How is that possible? No attack warning?" The room filled with nervous whispers. Layla, watching the live feeds from her lab, felt a cold dread. It's no accident. Something attacked. Her assistant Omar nodded. But what? The eardeck. Suddenly, an emergency broadcast cut. Through all channels. Avari's face appeared, looking grim and tired. The enemy has reached us. The moon is lost. We must prepare for what comes next. Layla whispered, they're here. In space, something unseen struck the moon base. No explosions. No fire. Just a silent wipeout. Avari's voice echoed in the control room. They do not fight as we do. They consume. They erase. The moon was a beacon. Now it is gone. General Hardin slammed his fist on the table. We need weapons. We need answers. Avari's eyes glowed dimly. The weapons you have will not stop them. We must work together or be destroyed. Layla shook her head. We've been used as bait. It's time we take control. On Earth, chaos erupted. Protests against the Varellans grew louder. Protect us from whom? People demanded. Scientists scrambled to analyze the unknown enemy's method. It wasn't a blast or missile, it was a wave, a mind attack, erasing technology and life silently. Layla met with military leaders. We need to learn their weakness, she said. The moon's loss is a warning. General Hardin nodded. Prepare. Every defense system. We fight or die. That night, Layla studied the shield's data. Something flickered inside the energy field. Look, Omar pointed. A small breach, but it's closing fast. Good, Layla said. We can use it. She turned to her screen. We'll send drones with EMP pulses. Maybe we can stop the next strike. The base rumbled as satellites tracked the unknown. Enemy moving closer. Suddenly, a chill swept through the command room. A new message appeared on every device. A whisper, clear and cold. We are coming. The room fell silent. Layla's voice was steady but fierce. Then we meet them head on. The moon was dead, but Earth was waking. The sky was darker than usual. The stars seemed to hide behind thick clouds, and the air buzzed with tension. Across the world, millions waited for a sign. What would come next? The loss of the moon base was only the beginning dot in a hidden command. Center beneath London, General Hardin paced nervously. His face was hard, but his eyes showed worry. Around him, officers watched monitors showing strange energy readings and flickering shield patterns. We can't wait anymore, Hardin said sharply. If we don't act now, Earth will be next. A young officer looked up. But the Varellans say their weapons won't stop the ear attack. What can we do that they can't? Hardin slammed his fist on the table. We do what they won't. We fight our way. At that moment, Layla Noor entered the room. She looked tired but determined. We have a plan. A new way to fight back. Hardin gave her a sharp look. Explain. Layla moved to the center screen. The shield blocks. Signals and attacks, but it's not perfect. It has weaknesses we can use. If we can open a small gap and send drones with our new pulse weapons, we might weaken the enemy enough to slow them. But that risks letting them in, said a worried general. Maybe, Layla admitted. But doing nothing guarantees defeat. Hardin nodded slowly. Then we move forward. Humanity will fight for its home. Across the Pacific Ocean, drones were launched from an aircraft carrier. Each one carried a pulse bomb, designed to disrupt the dark force pressing against the shield. Layla and Omar watched tensely in the control room. The shield flickered as drones pierced the energy field. Come on, Layla whispered suddenly. The drones reached the enemy's edge. A vast shadow loomed on their screens, massive and shifting like smoke. The pulse bombs exploded. Bright flashes lit the darkness. The shadow shrank. Cheers broke out. But then, a sudden wave of energy hit. The drones. One by one, they stopped working. It's fighting back, Omar said. It's stronger than we thought. Back in the command center, alarms screamed. The shield began to flicker more violently. General Hardin barked orders. All units prepare for impact. The energy wave slammed against the shield. It bent, stretched, then pulsed like a beating heart. "We're holding," a technician said breathlessly. But barely. Suddenly, the shield's glow changed color from gold to deep red. Layla's eyes widened. "That's not good. The shield is weakening." Varellan commanders appeared on all screens, their faces grim. "We must retreat," Avari said. "The ear tuck grows stronger." Hardin shook his head. "We're not running. We fight here." Meanwhile, in a hidden lab beneath the Arctic ice, Layla's team worked furiously. "We found something," a scientist called out. "A pattern. In the enemy's attacks, they're drawn to strong emotions. Fear, anger, despair." Layla looked at the data. "If we control the emotions of the people, if we stay calm and united, they lose power." Omar smiled. "That's something humans have plenty of." Layla and Hardin broadcast a message worldwide. "People of Earth," Layla's voice rang clear. "The enemy is strong, but together we are stronger. Do not give in to fear. Stay united. Our courage is the weapon they cannot touch." Across the planet, people listened. Fear slowly gave way to hope. Weeks passed. The shield held. The ear tack tested Earth's defenses again and again. But each time, the pulse weapons pushed them back. The humans adapted. The Varellans fought beside them, and then came the day of the first victory. A massive energy blast destroyed part of the Dark Shadow. It retreated into deep space. General Hardin stood on a broadcast. "Today, humanity fought and won. We did not wait for salvation. We created it." Layla smiled quietly in her lab. The fight was far from over, but Earth was no longer just a target. It was a warrior, and humanity's response was clear. They would protect their home no matter the cost. The night was thick with silence, but far above Earth, the stars seemed to tremble. The Artuk, the endless shadow that haunted the edges of the shield, gathered their dark forces. The war that would shake the stars was about to begin. In the command room beneath the Andes, Layla Noor and General Hardin stood side by side. Screens around them showed distant black clouds swirling, waiting for the moment to strike. "We've trained for this," Hardin said, voice low but steady. "But this is different. This is their full assault." Layla nodded. "They want to break the shield and destroy everything. We cannot let that happen." Suddenly, the room shook. Alarms blared. A new energy wave slammed into the shield, stronger than ever before. "Brace yourselves," Hardin shouted. Outside, the shield flared red, bending and cracking like glass. The dark mass pressed harder, pushing Earth's defenses to their limits. "Deploy all drones," Layla ordered. "Fire the pulse bombs now." One by one, drones launched into the void, carrying weapons of light and sound. They exploded into the blackness, piercing the shadow. But the Eartalk did not flee. They twisted and roared, spreading tendrils of darkness that snuffed out the drones before they could reach their target. "More incoming!" A technician cried. In the middle of the chaos, a sudden silence fell. The screens flickered. The shadow seemed to pull back, then surged forward again with twice the force. "It's learning," Layla said. "It's adapting," Hardin gritted his teeth. "Then we adapt faster." A plan formed in Layla's mind. "We'll create a feedback loop inside the shield. Use their own energy against them." "But how?" Omar asked, joining them. "We send drones inside the shield to hack the system, overload their power source." The room filled with nervous energy. It was risky. If the drones failed, the shield would fall. "Do it," Hardin said. "For Earth." The drones slipped through a tiny opening Layla's team created. They moved fast, dodging dark waves. Inside the shield, the air was thick with energy. Layla watched as one drone reached the core. Now, a pulse of light erupted, crashing through the shield's energy. The dark mass screamed as it was hit. The shield glowed brighter. The shadow shrank, pulled back by the sudden power surge. But the victory was brief. The Eartak countered with a new weapon, a wave of mental attacks that filled human minds with doubt and fear. People across Earth heard whispers in their heads. Dreams twisted into nightmares. Panic spread faster than any virus. Layla felt it too. She struggled to hold her focus. Hardin appeared beside her. "We can't fight this with weapons alone." "No," Layla said. "We fight with our minds. Our will." She activated a global broadcast. "People of Earth, do not let fear control you. Stand together. Our strength is in our unity." Slowly the whispers faded. Hope returned. The war lasted days, then weeks. Battles raged above Earth, unseen by the naked eye. Every time the Eartak attacked, humans fought back harder. They grew stronger, smarter. Then came the final moment. The shield pulsed once, twice, then shone like a star reborn. The Eartak's dark form shattered and fled, retreating into the void. In the silent calm after the storm, Layla looked up at the sky. "The stars are still here," she said softly. Hardin smiled. "And so are we." The battle was over, but the world was not the same. The stars twinkled once again above Earth, clear and bright. The dark shadow of the Earhawk had fled, but a new challenge had risen, one born from the very fight that saved humanity. In a vast chamber deep beneath the Earth's surface, Layla Noor stood before a group of leaders, scientists, and soldiers. The room hummed with quiet energy. This was no ordinary meeting. This was the birth of something new. "Today we are not just survivors," Layla said, her voice steady and strong. "We are the new shield bearers." A murmur ran through the crowd. General Hardin stepped forward. "The shield that once protected us was created by others. Now it belongs to us." Outside, giant machines pulsed with light, weaving a new kind of energy field, one made with human technology and human will. Omar turned to Layla. "We took their shield, but we built ours," Layla smiled. "And it's stronger because it's ours." The Varellans watched nervously from their ships in orbit. Their eyes, once full of pride, now held respect and fear. Avari spoke quietly. "They have changed. Earth is no longer a prize. It is a fortress." Back on Earth, people were different too. The mental attacks from the Earhawk left marks on their minds, but also gifts. Some could sense the shield's energy. Others could communicate without words. A new generation was growing stronger, smarter, connected. Layla visited a school where children were learning to control their new powers. One boy raised his hand. "Can we help protect the stars too?" She nodded. "Yes, this is only the beginning." But peace was fragile. In the dark edges of space, the Eartak still waited. They had lost the battle, but not the war. Layla looked at the sky one last time. "We will be ready." Hardin stood beside her. "For Earth, for the stars, for all who dare to live." Humanity was no longer alone. They were the shield, the new shield bearers. And their story was just starting.